Hi, welcome back to Let's Build, where we have a very special Ferrari for you today and also a little bit of commentary on the Ferrari which I will put in after the build. But to start with, the RSX is based on the Ferrari SF90 of course, and earlier this year there was a mule spotted testing and the motoring press said, well, this is going to be a special version of the car, the Versione Speciale. This is going to be perhaps a bit more track focused because you can see the spoiler etc on it. And back then I built this car pretty much hot off the back of my garage tour, and this is the VS, but it's purely an artist's impression. But now we have the final car, it's the Ferrari SF90 XX. We'll talk about it after, let's build it now. Let's turn an artist's impression into reality, and I have pre-selected all the parts for this, so we should be able to go through fairly quickly. Always do your armour, brakes are up to you, I'm full. On the front bumpers, funnily enough, I think that you can probably just stay with the stock bumper. It actually has the most accurate amount of carbon down here. These little winglets serve quite well as a reminder of the things that are happening around this area on the real car. For the rear bumpers, I've decided to go for the carbon winged diffuser. The shapes here mixed with the diffuser, the lack of body coloured paint down here all work pretty well, and this little tiny wing is slightly overly big, but even that sort of works. So that is our selection there. Moving on to the engine, of course, for the exhaust, I quite like this chrome triple bore because we have one extra pipe, but it does at least simulate the two round exhausts here, and the stock is not bad at having actually two pipes, albeit the wrong shape. You know, I'm going to go for the chrome triple bore, but obviously stock will save you some money and still look fine. For the hood, we are trying to reference the two massive outlets here and the two vents. And for this we go down to race fins and I think carbon. Select carbon wherever you can on this car for black because the whole thing's got loads of carbon in it. So carbon race fins. Now we only have one big vent, not two, but at least we have these two big vents, and I think that's the closest we are going to get. Moving on to the horn relief, the lights, I've got the ones from the car meet, as you can see, and I strongly suggest those. The xenons are going to be a bit blue for a car that is so modern. We don't need a livery. The mirrors can just stay stock because otherwise we have black options, and you can see the red paint on the photo. Your own choice of plate. Obviously if you have some form of Ferrari plate, which I regretfully have not made up. The rear panel here, now these areas are slattered perspex for real, and we don't have that sort of see-through option, but the carbon slipstream panel here, the very smooth nature of this is the nearest I can get to imagining that they are perspex, and at least we have two of the sort of 3 or 4 cooling slots that are available. So carbon slipstream panel I think works there. Respray, I am going to look up for you if there is a crew hex that will give a slightly more accurate Ferrari red, and if so I will put it there, but I think most people will be very happy just to go straight on to a classic Torino red, so that's what we're going to do here for simplicity. Little dark inside, looks nice outside. Secondary colour, well, if you have a look on the car you can see it's doing quite a few things, all of which we want in black, so it's very easy. Classic black. Inside we want black with red stitching, and the red outside gave us the red stitching, so the default black option is the easiest. For the roof we do want a carbon roof. I wish the weave wasn't so weavy in these, it's too obvious, but there's no form of ridge line or other shapes to the roof, so just a carbon roof there. Skirts. Stock skirts are actually not bad, but when you look at the ones on the real car they stick out a bit, especially here. And if we go down to the skirt lip. You can see these bits sticking out. I mean, it's not exactly the same shape, but I think this most closely references what's available, so we're going to go for the carbon skirt lip. Spoiler is a really simple choice because everything, as you look, is not a big wing apart from the end, when you can basically have primary ends, secondary ends, or carbon. So the carbon championship wing, that is your perfect spoiler for the XX. Onto suspension. Well, looks like I went a bit low. You can see air on top of the tyre, so we're going back to stock suspension for this. Tail fin means the roof fin, and the carbon aftermarket one will obviously match the roof. Transmission to full, I've gone turbo full. Wheels, they're a very distinct shaped wheel, and one of the more distinct ones we have in the game that matches the car is stock, and of course they're already painted black, so you can just save a lot of money here with your stock rim. There's definitely some tint to the windows on the photos, so a light smoke. And that literally is it. Let's take it out in sunshine and have a look at our new SF90 XX. I'm very pleased with the build. I hope you will be too. It's how I'm going to store the car. But just a little about the real SF90 XX. You must probably be aware that the XX program started a while ago. It was 2005 when they did a version of the Enzo called the FXX. And they only made 29 plus one for Michael Schumacher. 5 years later, the 599 XX, based obviously on the 599, there was an Evo as well, and they ended up with making 44 in total. In 2015, based on the LaFerrari, was the FXXK, and in total with the Evo they made 42 of those. Not a lot. They were track-only cars, and they came with a full support program. You know, somebody would take it in a truck to the track for you, prepare it for you, teach you to drive it, and all the rest. It's a real rich man's plaything and very, very exclusive. But now the SF90 XX is a road version. It comes on road tyres, which according to the Top Gear article I'll link below are one of its most limiting factors. And it's not limited to 29 or 44. They're going to make 700 hardtops and 700 of the retractable sort of soft top version. So nearly 1400 they're going to make. So it's not at all limited. It's only a little bit more powerful and a little bit better than the car it's based on. And certainly Evo magazine, when they put this at the car of the year testing, I think was it last year or the year before, terrible memory, it came way, way down. It's obviously a fantastically accomplished car, but I don't think it's so much of a driver's car. So in the same way that you see now loads of Volkswagens sprinkled with Rs, loads of BMWs sprinkled with M Sport, and Mercedes with AMG branded cigarette lighters. I made that up. But all these brands seem to be keen on diluting their sports part of the brand. Now Ferrari have joined in. Still, I'm sure they will find buyers for all of these, and I'm sure we all want Ferrari to have money and keep developing fun cars, so let's not begrudge them too much. I want to thank Talentoso23. He linked me to the Top Gear video on this car, and that's what inspired this build, especially when I realised I'd already made the VS about 6 months before. If you enjoyed this build or any of the commentary, please do hit me with a like. It would really help build towards the next 1,000 subscribers. Talking of which, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment if you think of absolutely anything at all to say, and I thank you so much for watching.